Throwing spaghetti at the wall is for brainstorms, not for the to-do list. Most people organically plan, but fail to strategically plan. There's a big difference. In this episode, we'll dive into the lost art of time blocking and how we can boost productivity by simply taking the time to organize time. And this episode is just as much for me than it is for anyone else. I knew that the end of February and the beginning of March would be a challenge due to an abundance of travel and moving parts with my family schedule. So I had to plan well ahead of how to utilize my time in the office, while also absorbing what most people call distractions, but I call it unforeseen opportunities. If you routinely have a crammed calendar, I hope that this episode can provide some valuable insights on how not to fly by the seat of your pants, but to use the art of time blocking to strategically plan your weeks well ahead of time. We'll be right back. You are listening to the Work Life Eubiosis podcast with your host, Charleston Edwards. If this is your first time here, welcome. My goal is simple: to eradicate burnout and to bring harmony, purpose, and balance to this world, starting with the family. My hope is that this show and the story shared will provide encouragement and ideas that will be valuable to you on your journey to work-life freedom. So let's dive into today's episode. Who you were yesterday has a direct correlation to how you show up today. Let me explain. When you wash the dishes before you go to bed, you will be grateful to walk into a clean kitchen the next morning. When you make your bed in the morning, you will be grateful to walk into an inviting bedroom at night. When you say no to that extra glass of wine or bowl of ice cream, your body will thank you the next morning. When you outline a project, you will be grateful to have a guide that you have already thought out when you sit down to work the next day. Simply put, we reap what we sow. A discipline today makes momentum tomorrow. Before we can successfully reap the benefits of a productive work week or work day, we must sow in a solid plan. Tackling the to-do list just for the sake of being busy or productive is not a successful plan. It's like building a plane while flying. Sowing and reaping aren't meant to be concurrent, and we must respect the first part of the process, which is strategic planning. Executing on a to-do list without a strategy leads to nowhere. A strategy does not have to be complicated. A strategy is simply a plan with tactics to tackle a specific goal. The goal is the why, the purpose and vision behind a task. Defining why behind any task will then help us reverse engineer the steps to get to that particular goal. Let's put that into application. I have a goal of helping people to live more purposefully and in alignment with their purpose. I believe that we can all have more joy and less stress if we detach from the rat race thinking and reattach to our unique God-given design for this world. That's my goal. You can even say that this is my current mission in life because as far as I can tell, there will always be someone else to help. So to accomplish that goal, or any goal, I must understand what completion looks like. To that end, I have several recurring projects that I pour into weekly to make sure that you're receiving information, insights, and inspiration. Some of the projects are short-term, a couple are long-term, which means my workflow must be systemized and strategically thought out to make the best use of my time. And this strategy has a few principles. To constantly evaluate and reconnect to my purpose. To consistently time block my peak energy on a daily basis. To have meeting-free days for more focused work. To ruthlessly simplify every one of my approaches. To guard my morning routines, to honor rest and family time, and to practice being content, regardless of the results. This also means that I must know my capacity, my quota, and my limitations, and try not to accomplish everything at once. This, at the end of the day, points to another reminder that has helped me reduce stress. I have the rest of my life to execute this mission, one day at a time. And now we are back full circle to why strategic planning is important. Throwing spaghetti at the wall is for brainstorms, not for the to-do list. Every task in a plan must have a time, place, and purpose. Before I move on, I have to say that though planning is necessary, planning will never be perfect. Something or someone will always go against a great plan. Kids, spouses, colleagues, social media, last-minute projects or opportunities, friends in need, pets, laundry, cooking, cleaning, shopping, and other never-ending chores. Life. Good, bad, or indifferent, we are surrounded by a world of constant alerts, demands, and hurry. To fight against all the noise and to strategically plan the ideal day and week, we have to learn the art of strategic time blocking. Time blocking is not a new technique by any means and is foundational to all time management models. Most people, in fact, time block organically when scheduling. However, most people fail to implement it strategically. Time blocking in its most perfect form is scheduling time for the biggest priorities at the most available time. Time blocking allows space to not only tend to the demands or distractions of others, but allows space to recharge, to be creative, and possibly be a bit more productive. And if you have never time blocked or strategically planned your entire week or have gotten out of this habit, I have 7 strategies in the remaining of this episode that will help you get back into rhythm. Okay, the first step is to plan for longer. All projects, especially ones that haven't been tackled before, take much longer than we think they will take. This is the reality of tackling anything new for the first time. My guidance for new projects versus recurring projects is slightly different. For the purposes of new projects, there are 3 T's to consider: testing, timing, and tackling. We must first test the waters of the project and outline all the many parts that we believe it will take to completion. In this testing, identify the completion goal and what it will look like, and reverse engineer the plan accordingly. Next, the opposite of time audit, perform a time forecast. Fully put timing towards each piece of the project. Estimate more time than what you think it will take, and then space it out by time blocks or by full days. And then lastly, tackle. Tackle the new project in small chunks. This prevents overwhelm when looking at the next step versus the finish line. Focusing on the end goal can be counterproductive to where the attention is best valued. Once you have a rhythm for the project, and it turns into a reoccurrence, then that's when you can execute principles such as Parkinson's Law or the Pomodoro method to get tasks done quickly in quick sprints. Next up is plan for next week, not this week. This sounds a bit ridiculous to most people, but I have a 1-week rule regarding taking or scheduling meetings. What this means is that I have taken a position of authority on my calendar, and anyone who wants to schedule a meeting will have to be scheduled at least 1 week out. During busy seasons, this may even turn into 2 or 3 weeks to protect my time for my most important work. The 1-week rule serves as a boundary, as I need this space to make sure that I have enough margin in each of my days and weeks to be prepared for the unexpected. This method isn't foolproof by any means, but it really helps to filter out what's urgent versus what can wait. While scheduling the week, it's also beneficial to build out at least 2 hours at the end or start of the work week to spend with your calendar, goals, and to-dos. I highly recommend 2 hours on Fridays or the weekend, which sets you up for a powerful start on that next Monday. These 2 hours shouldn't have anything else scheduled in them, as it's foundational to outline and organize. This is the most critical time block to put on the calendar throughout the week. Without it, chaos ensues. In those 2 hours, you may even want to meet with your family to collaborate on each other's goals and schedules. Because both my wife and I work from home and we both operate independent businesses, weekly planning and alignment and communication is pivotal to our success both professionally and in running our home. Next up is planning the bookends. The first hour and the last hour of the day are great for being meeting free. Those times are great for building momentum to start the day and great for ending the day well in a sprint. If you are in a meeting-heavy work culture or an organization that may not allow having a full day for being meeting-free, then easing in and out of each work day may be for you, and this is why the bookends are needed. This time becomes valuable time to review the to-dos, finish a project, clean up, not out, the inbox, or just spend some time in thought and meditation. Don't underestimate the time of silence. It is imperative for creativity and organizing. Having this flexible time will help when emergencies come up and will give you a better opportunity to shift other meetings and tasks. Next, we have plan for the mountain peaks. As I've mentioned throughout this time management series, ultradian scheduling is a game changer. As you play with the jigsaw puzzle of your calendar, make it personal and get to know your energy levels and when you are mentally at your peak. For example, if you are a morning person and part of your job is writing, block time in the morning to write, not to be in meetings. If you find yourself to be more creative and you work with a team of other creatives, then schedule your brainstorms and collaboration work for late in the afternoon for when your mental guards are down. If you're a producer of content of any sort, time block 90-minute windows daily for any deep work that needs to get done, specifically when your energy is at its highest. Pending your workload and the type of work you're doing, you may even need a larger block of time reserved. Next is to plan by color. This may or may not be helpful for you, but my digital calendar is coordinated by colors. Having the colors of the rainbow not only shows the diversities of clients or themes of the week, but also naturally helps me to remain balanced. Seeing the colors also helps me when I need to realign various projects to a different day or time, which can help me to remain in flow, or times that I need to take a break to adequately task switch or prepare for a different project between meetings. We're going to tackle the last 2 tips after this quick break. This episode is brought to you by Own Your 5 to 9, an organization committed to freeing families of the rat race and burnout. Every organization has a leader, mission, and a set of values that drives the organization. But this is commonly missed in the most important organization in the world, the family. An organization has one mission for how it will impact the world. Why not the family? An organization goes into strategic planning routinely to align its values, mission, and projects. Why not the family? Whose home A strategic planning guide for families is a workbook and a tool needed in all households. Whose Home takes a strategic planning approach with 10 guided exercises to define your core family values, family mission, and tools to operationalize how your family does life together. If your family is facing a big decision, Whose Home is for you. If you're considering a career pivot, Whose Home is also for you. If you desire more intentionality and harmony in your home, Whose Home is for you. Create a healthy culture, not a hustle culture, at home. Visit ownyour5to9.com to claim your copy today. I can't mention calendar planning and meeting management without mentioning email management. We must have a plan for email. Even with asynchronous project management tools such as Slack, Asana, Teams, or Workplace, email is still the number one platform that can work for us or against us, especially if it's not managed appropriately. So here are a few tips to consider. First, use your bookend times to address email and try to avoid middle of the day ping pongs. If you're receiving more than 100 emails a day, then look to build additional time blocks to get a hold of this influx. For outgoing messages, keep your messages to 5 sentences or less, and or no more than 2 minutes in responding to your emails. Next, be thoughtful about who is copied or not copied. There's nothing worse than being copied on something for a string of emails that don't pertain to you. If you are that person, turn on conversation mode so you can easily filter out the old messages that aren't associated with attachments. Flag emails that you want to come back to when you need additional time to write out a less rushed response. Make subfolders. Emails that no longer need your attention but need to be saved can be moved to a new home. Subfolder organization can happen by topic, by person, or theme. Make a practice of moving old emails daily before they turn into a mountain tomorrow. For incoming messages, turn off the alerts while you're in a state of flow or working on a deep focus project. This also means your smartwatch, your phone, and even ghost pop-ups on your computer to be turned off. And the last tip is to plan to shift. Blocked time with a strategic system can put you back in control. No more flying by the seat of your pants. The strategic system accounts for your peaks, emails, meetings, collaboration, creativity, and rest. However, life happens. The unexpected, without fail, will knock on your door or ping your phone. To be able to easily shift, this means that your weekly plan must have white space. Without white space or margin, it's going to be extremely hard to shift, flex, or detour without compromising something or someone. With the white space already time blocked, you now have the permission to shift in real time and to be more available for distractions. But instead of calling it a distraction, call it an opportunity. Blocked white space on the calendar is an opportunity to shift your mindset. We can't predict what will happen tomorrow or next week. We also know that our days are never guaranteed or may never go according to plan. But this should never stop us from taking a proactive approach of planning ahead. If you're constantly feeling stretched too thin, consider taking the time to pre-plan the next few weeks using one or a few of the tactics mentioned in this podcast. Have a good week. Thank you for listening to the Work Life Eubiosis podcast. part of the work-life resources created by Own Your 5 to 9. I hope that you have found encouragement and a few ideas to strengthen your journey to purpose, freedom, and balance. Have you overcome burnout and found a new way of life? Millions around the globe are still at the risk of burnout and losing it all. And your story may be the one that sparks not only a dream, but action. Visit ownyour5to9.com for more information and submit your story. While you're there, join the Work Life Eubiosis newsletter and receive additional resources weekly right to your inbox. If you enjoy this podcast, take time to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Share it with a friend or loved one. Remember, the most important organization in the world is the family. Let's do our part to strengthen it. Thank you for listening.